A Jacksonville mom tonight, very upset. You're about to see an exclusive look inside the Duval Detention Center at a situation involving a 15-year-old girl. And we've learned it could be the stimulus to change a new state law in Florida.
They hurt so bad. They really hurt.
We're just calling her mom. And her daughter we'll call Sammy because she's a juvenile.
She was 2. She was a happy baby.
Now Sammy is 15 and she's in trouble. But mom and her attorneys believe Sammy was mistreated, beaten up by detention officers.
They had to do my baby like that.
She's talking about this incident at the DDC, the Duval Detention Center in Jacksonville. Basically, it's kid jail, a secured facility on 8th Street.
They had no reason to touch her.
Lawyers Belkis Plata and Shannon Schott are suing the Department of Juvenile Justice, the DJJ. They want changes. And to explain, let's go back to January 19th. According to her attorneys, this video is from inside the DDC. You can see the staff pulling Sammy's bedding out of her room into this common area.
Basically, they're just doing it to be nasty to her. There's no reason to do that.
Sammy told her mom she wanted to go into her room and take a nap. Plata says Sammy then goes to tell a supervisor. Then the officers put her in that sort of a hold there, and Sammy does not walk back freely.
You can see the child lock her legs, so now she's kind of sliding across the floor.
Then it all escalates. Officers take her down.
You can see putting both of her hands around the child's neck, choking her.
We'll freeze this right here so you can see that.
Y'all grabbed around her neck, y'all slammed on the floor. That's something you do to a criminal. She's not a criminal. She's just a child that made some bad mistakes in her life.
Sammy was at DDC for fraudulent use of a credit card, her attorneys say, and domestic battery.
She did break the law, though.
Yeah, she broke the law.
But I'm not going to say that they're little angels, but they're children.
Her attorneys say after this, Sammy was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting with violence. But the state attorney's office dropped the charges against Sammy. Still, though, it's easy to think she's 15, she broke the law, she needs reform. And inside a locked-up facility like this, well, at least she'll learn a lesson. But let's dig in some more.
So our client has experienced some pretty horrific things in her past. She's been trafficked, she's a victim of human trafficking, she's been raped.
So she's been diagnosed as having PTSD, depression, some cognitive issues.
Her attorneys say Sammy needed to be in therapy programs, not locked up so long at the DDC, 107 days.
Bad things can happen in the detention center.
Rob Mason is head of the Juvenile Division of the Public Defender's Office, 4th Circuit. He's worked almost 14,000 cases in his career. He says a new law in Florida is actually hurting juveniles.
To add trauma to a child who's experienced trauma, it's not the recipe for success.
Before the new law took effect in October, kids could be held at DDC for only 15 business days before they were placed in a treatment program or a lockup. But now the new law says once a child goes through the court system, he must be put in secure detention here at the DDC until he's placed. And that wait time?
It may be 60 days, it may be 90 days, it may be 100 days.
Time for trouble, time without treatment. What should happen then to this new law?
I'd repeal it.
And that's part of the lawsuit on behalf of Sammy.
We would like to see the statute repealed. We would also like to see the staff members either retrained or dismissed from their employment.
They feel like these kids are nothing when they go in these facilities, but they still human. They still kids. They somebody's child.
Now, Rob Mason, the public defender, says before this new law, it was up to judges to decide where a juvenile offender should go temporarily. If he's dangerous, stay locked up. If not, home detention. Mason says we should go back to that system. However, I reached out to the Department of Juvenile Justice, the DJJ, and they say prior to the change in law, DJJ's data showed that 40% of youth awaiting placement while in the community re-offended. DJJ won't comment on Sammy's case, but their top priority, they say, is the safety and security of youth in their custody. We promise you we're going to keep following up on this issue.